Hello you, thanks for sharing your time with me. It is Angela Board Game Gran, and today I'm going to be looking at my Essen picks for 2021. Not all of these games will be out at Essen, but I believe they will either be being demoed or up for sale. See how many of them I actually end up buying, which is usually why I do my Essen Gen Con picks list, just to check. So I've already got one up here on the screen, you can see it. I'm using Board Game Geek to throw up some images because that is just easier for me. And the one that's on screen at the moment is called Garden Nation. And the reason I've put this one up is the artwork really grabbed me. I just thought it was a beautiful looking thing. I'm not sure that I would buy it, but I wanted to highlight it because I'm trying to show you games that perhaps you haven't heard of. The components look really sweet as well. There's not a whole lot of word as to what this is. So there's no mechanics being mentioned, but you do get to build your town in a town's garden, which sounds like a really cool setting. Look at those lovely bits. So it's not actually in my most wanted, in that I'm probably wouldn't buy it, but I just wanted to highlight it to you because it's so pretty. It's from publisher Bombix. Okay, so this is another one that I probably will end up not buying because I already have King Domino, but I thought I'd mention it in case you didn't know it was coming out. It's King Domino Origins, and it looks like it's set in like caveman times, which is pretty adorable. There we go. So it looks a lot like King Domino, which is why I haven't put it on my purchase list. But again, I wanted to highlight it to you guys. Maybe you're such a fan of King Domino, you already own Queen Domino, and you might own this one as well eventually. Right, let's start with my actual wants. Okay, so first up I've got Adele, which I'm not sure whether it is actually out already or not, but the reason that I like this one is the theme. So the theme is obviously sci-fi, and the onboard computer starts to think that the crew are some kind of threat to the ship. So it's kind of a horror thing. I'm thinking this is because I love Alien, the movie, so much that I'm so drawn to this, but I do also like the artwork and things as well. It's 1 to 5 players. It's got dice rolling. I think it's got hand management. It's got a whole bunch of mechanics within the game. Look at that, it just looks really nice. Yeah, so I like the theme of this one. So Adele is on my wants list. Okay, next up on my Essen wants list for the year is Astrum, which I've got to be honest, I've mainly put it on here because I just think it looks stunning. I love polyomino games, if you probably know if you follow me anywhere on socials. And look, it's got clear like perspex or acrylic polyomino tiles, and it's to do with the constellations. I'm a bit of a space nerd, so it's just ticking boxes left, right and center. The only box that doesn't tick for me is abstract strategy, but if you're a fan of abstract strategy, look how beautiful that is. That is Astrum from Cosmodrome Games. Okay, so next up we've got Arientis. Now, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. That wouldn't be anything new, would it? Because I do that all the time. But hopefully I've got close. It comes to us from Cranio Creations, and I just liked it because it looked like a magical sort of quirky little thing. And look how beautiful the artwork is. It's so nice. And also recessed boards, which ding, thumbs up. That is definitely a plus for me. It's ages 8+, so I'm assuming it's going to be quite easy because the playtime listed on it at the moment also is 30 minutes. So that's perfect for me. I don't mind a lighter game. It means I've got more of a chance of actually getting it to the table and getting it played. Looks quite small, but it looks really nice. So that is Arientis. I've probably put the names of them up, I'm hoping, so that my pronunciations aren't throwing you. I should say as well that it's area influence, hand management, and I think it listed modular boards. Looks like it anyway. Okay, next up we've got Fruticola, which isn't spelt fruit, as I just found when I tried to find it and I couldn't find it anywhere. Fruticola has these beautiful components, and that is why I've chosen it. I know, so shallow. The box art, as you probably saw there, is pretty dire. It doesn't grab me in any way, but it doesn't matter. It's what's on the inside that counts, as with life. So here we have the beautiful components. And in Fruticola, you are farming, and I assume you're farming fruit and perhaps making drinks out of it, or jam by the looks of it. I think it said it was ages 10+, playtime 45 minutes, And just look at those components. It totally swayed me. I am an absolute sucker for things like this, although I do like wooden pieces as well. Yeah, just looks really nice. And despite that weird box art, I've added it to my list. Perhaps you haven't heard of it. That is Fruticola, and it comes to us from Yoka Games. Okay, so next up we've got Lisbon Tram 28, and I just love the look of this. It's obviously set in Lisbon in Portugal, but look how adorable it is. It's got a little bell, ding ding. Don't know what that's for, but maybe you're the conductor. Look at it, it's lovely. So we've mainly got hand management, you can see from the cards there, and some pick up and deliver. Picking up customers, I assume, and delivering them to their destination. I just like the look of it, and I think it was ages 8+, a playtime 45 minutes to 60 minutes, which means it's probably quite easy to play. I mean, it looks easy, it looks very basic, but we all like Ticket to Ride, or most of us. So who knows, maybe we've got a little bit of a hit here. Oh look, there's a real Lisbon tram. Yeah, I like that one. Lisbon Tram 28. And that comes to us from Waggle Games. Next up, we've got Lunar Capital from De Beer Games. And I like this because it's sci-fi and it is city building as well. And look how cute the artwork is. Now, I think it was ages 8+, so it's obviously not going to be too taxing. And I think it was card drafting and tile placement, so fairly easy. I like the retro sort of look to this one. And look at the cool rocket to hold the tiles as well. Yeah, it doesn't look like a giant game, but yeah, I just like the overall look of it. And again, I don't mind an easier game as well. It makes it easier for me to get it to the table. That is Lunar Capital. I think that one might be on a few people's wants lists as well. I'm sure that I've seen it on a couple of other people's. Okay, so next up I've got one that maybe you haven't heard of called Pessoa, and I had to look this up, and I love it when board games teach me something I didn't know. Got a tendency to go poking around to see. And Pessoa is a super famous poet, and I believe he lived in Portugal. Trying to remember now, it was a while ago since I looked it up. But the interesting thing about this game and this guy is he had this sort of multiple personality thing going on, where he would sort of blame other people for his actions, but the other people were actually him, and he called them heteronyms. And in the game, you have Pessoa's mind working as one sort of aspect of the game, but also these heteronyms, so these other sort of people who are off doing other things, and it's all based around poetry, and I just thought that was absolutely fascinating. You can see it's not my usual type of game to look at. It's all very sort of tan and bleak, but just the theme is fascinating to me. And I think it's hand management and worker placement as well. And they're two things that I enjoy. It's ages, I think this one's ages 10 or 12+, so a little bit more complex. So I'm looking at the pictures. It's not I don't want to look at you. I'm trying to remember. My brain's sort of going into overtime trying to remember what I read. And it's wonderful players. Yeah, look at it. It looks really nice for what it is. It's just not the usual bright sort of popping game that I would buy. But yeah, I'm placing this really high actually on my wants, higher than some of those other prettier coloured ones that we've just seen. That is Pessoa, and I think that was Pythagoras Games. I think it was. It's probably on the screen at the moment. All right, so next up we've got the Specialists from, I think it's Explore 8 Games. And you can see there is going to be some dice rolling in this one because it's got dice on the cover. I like the artwork, I like the overall look, and the premise is really cool. So you basically go around and you have to try and sort of assemble your best heist team. So specialists in various things. So let's assume things like safe cracking, perhaps alarms, maybe a getaway driver, things like that. So you go around, you create a specialist team, and then you go in and you perform different heists, like maybe robbing a casino or I assume a bank and things like that. And I love a dice game. Now, I know not everyone loves games with dice in them because you, perhaps if you don't, like me, have terrible luck with dice. But I don't mind a little bit of chance if it's mixed in with being able to sort of help mitigate it a little bit. And I think this will probably do it really well. Look how pretty it is. It's so nice. I think it's wonderful players. I think the playtime on this one was really weird, like 30 minutes to maybe 80 minutes or something. So I'm not sure what that's about, unless it's just purely down to player count. Yeah, I like to look at that one. That was the Specialists. It's probably not at the very top of my wants list, but it's up there. Right, so I've done my wants, and this is just a few other games that I kind of noticed. Batuku. Now, I've noticed this one because of how beautiful it is. But the reason this here, what you're looking at now, this is the reason it's not higher on my list. I think if I pulled this out with my regular gaming group, they would have a hissy fit. There is too much going on there for them, that's for sure. I don't get to play these types of games very often, but the premise of this one is you are playing, I think it's Spirits of the Forest, and you're trying to sort of elevate yourself in a sort of enlightenment sort of way to become the head spirit of the forest. But look at it, it is absolutely stunning. I think this was the most beautiful game that I spotted when I was going through the Essen list for this year. It's really lovely. I don't think it had too many mechanisms going on either. Maybe it looks busier than the gameplay actually is. I think it only had like hand management, set collection, and something else. You can correct me in the comments. But it's just, you can see you've fallen in love with it as well, haven't you? Come on now. You have to have a heart of stone not to think that's beautiful. Ah, look at it. Yeah, so that's why that one's on my list. I think it would be right at the top if I thought I would get it to the table. It is just, it's stunning. Whoever did the artwork, bravo. You've done a fantastic job. Okay, well, that's my best spotted. So that's the most beautiful one I spotted. I may as well cover one, not to be negative, because I know if someone's put a lot of work into a game, I don't want to like poo-poo their hard work, but I feel like the internet is just, reviews are becoming too positive. I think we need to call out now and again if we see something and we're like, oh, that's not for me, even if it may well be for you. And for me, that game was this one. Okay, so this is the one I spotted that I didn't overly like. For the girls, adult party game, first expansion. So it's actually not a game. My mistake. It is an expansion for What Do You Meme. I've not played What Do You Meme. I'm not ragging on anyone that likes that game. We all like different things. I just thought this is so tacky for the girls, and the description of it as well was like it's for women with women, you know, women questions and women topics, and I was just like, oh yeah, I'm out. What's this? Dump the dudes for the night and gather up the girls for a wild ride. Players compete to collect the most cards, do whatever the card tells you to do, blah blah blah. Again, maybe you're really looking forward to this expansion, I'm not sure. It's just you know, for me. So that is why it's on the list. This was my worst spotted when I went through that entire Essen list. I definitely wouldn't be rushing out to get this one. All right, next, best name. Probably wouldn't buy it, even though it's bees and I love bee games, my goodness. Waggle Dance by Mike Nudd. I just loved the name. I thought that was brilliant. It's kind of what bees do, I guess. And it does look really nice. I'm not putting it down in any way. I probably would buy this if I didn't already own Honey Buzz, Bees, Hive Mind, loads of bee games. But yeah, it looks good. It looks nice. I think if I saw it maybe on sale well after Essen, I would probably take a look. It looks like it's got some kind of dice mechanic as well. And as I mentioned earlier, I like that as well. So that's Waggle Dance. All right, last one. This was the best kids game that I spotted. And you know, I cover kids games because I play a lot of games with my grandkids. So we're looking at ages 8 to 99. 400-year-old gamer, always screwed. Plays for around 20 minutes, 1 to 4 players. And I just thought this was super pretty. And it has a spinning top play mechanic, which I just thought was interesting. I'm not sure how that works. Yeah, kind of cool. Are we going to see anything on the inside? Here we go. Helps if it's in English, doesn't it? Here we go. There's a spinning top. My grandson would love that, based purely on the spin. Okay, so it looks like it's recessed. And you maybe spin it and it tries to sort of bounce through the board to different areas. That's pretty cool. That would keep kids engaged for sure. And it looks really nice as well. There's no complaints here, is there? It's as a kids game, I think that is the best one that I spotted on the Essen list here on BGG. Very pretty. Looks like different player boards as well. There we go. There's the whole thing. That's it. Ghost Adventure. And that came from Dharma Clear. Is that who the maker is? I'm not sure. I can only apologise but it's on my list anyway, and that's the most important thing. That's it. That's my Essen list for this year. Needless to say, I won't be going to Essen. It's still a dream of mine to one day get there. I'm sure it'll happen at some point, hopefully before my knees give out, because there is a lot of walking involved in Essen. I've been watching everyone else's pre-Essen videos while I do this, and I have noticed a couple of the games that were on my wants list. I think Astrum, Lunar Capital, I know they were on a few other people's lists as well. So tell me what's on your list. Perhaps by the time this video goes live, you've already been and you're back and you've bought some new games. I'd love to see what they are and hear about what ones have been your favorite. Maybe you demoed something at Essen and you could drop that in the comments as well, especially if I have missed it off my list. I hope you've enjoyed this little look at my Essen list this year. More of a diary for myself. I do love waiting like a year and a half and then going back and checking to see if I actually did purchase those games that I've mentioned in these lists. And who knows, maybe we'll cover that at some point as well. I won't keep you any longer. If you've lasted this long, thank you so much for spending your time with me. I appreciate it more than you even know. And as I end every video, and truly most important to me, take care of yourself.